We're in Utah with Ford driving the new Ranger Raptor.
And we are also going to tell you about the Raptor Assault School, where you can fly over jumps like we did.
Here we go, in sport mode. The Raptor.
Ford Ranger Raptor.
Sounds great.
With a 3-liter, I've already blown it, Andrea. I've blown it already. So before we get into all of that, we just want to say we're kind of doing this in reverse order. We've already done the off-road part, and we wore a helmet for 2 hours. So please forgive the helmet head.
Yeah.
But right now we're going to get into what's under the hood of this Ford Ranger Raptor.
A 3-liter twin-turbo V6 with a 10-speed automatic transmission, 405 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. Full-time 4-wheel drive, and Ford recommends premium fuel for this model.
So the reason we're doing it in reverse order is because we want to go through all of the stuff that comes with this. This is the first time ever that the Ranger is a Raptor in North America. It's been for sale in Australia.
Yeah, second generation in Australia.
We found out this is engineered down under. So if you're watching from Australia, good day, you did a good job.
Assembled in Michigan.
2,000 engineers in Australia.
I know.
It's amazing.
Incredible.
All right, so right now we're going to get into what do you get with the Ranger Raptor? What are the key standard features?
The Raptor comes with a 12-inch touchscreen with Sync 4A, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 12.4-inch digital driver display, a wireless charger, 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen audio system, a 360-degree camera, heated front seats, 10-way power driver's seat, 8-way power passenger seat, power locking tailgate, and Ford Copilot 360.
Well, Andrew's already put it in sport. What else can we put it in?
Got to put it in S for subscribing. If you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the Couple Car Review, twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, but also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's going on behind the scenes. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. Okay, mash it all the way to the floor, Andrea. We're out in the middle of nowhere.
I love it when we're out in the middle of nowhere.
It sounds good, right?
Come on.
When we first got this morning, it was already dark out.
Yeah, we were up early.
We left at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, but I'll tell you one thing. On road, on the highway like this, I thought the power was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't blow you away, but later on, when you go off-road and you do all of the stuff we're going to show you, I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, and you think about that, when they build this vehicle, they've got to have the on-road feeling be great, as well as the off-road feeling, and I'm sure that that is challenging to do for sure, because some people might just use the Raptor as their daily driver and rarely take it off-road, so you really want to have that comfortable feeling on-road, and it does. This is comfortable, it's smooth, it eats up those potholes, and I think that inside the cabin it's pretty well insulated.
Yeah, so Chief Engineer is here for all of performance for Ford, and he said a lot of people buy their performance models, whether it's the F-150 Raptor or they think this Raptor or the Bronco, and they just want the best. They might not be using it for off-road capability, they just want the best because they can afford it. And when they drive it every day, it's actually quite nice. And I think the secret sauce to this whole truck, Andrea, is the suspension, and this has the Fox racing shocks, right?
It does. 2.5-inch live valve racing shocks. And I asked the chief engineer, what does this have in common with the Ranger? And he said, not much, actually. It actually has a long travel suspension, including a Watts-Link rear suspension. Of course, we talked about the shocks. And it's got best-in-class horsepower and torque, an advanced 4-wheel drive system, a new electronically controlled on-demand 2-speed transfer case, and front and rear locking differentials for improved off-road traction.
So even the boxed frame is different. There are commonalities. Basically, the rails that run underneath the passenger compartment between the front and rear wheels, they're the same Ranger to Ranger. But the front suspension and the chassis is unique and bespoke to this, and the rear as well, because the regular Ranger has leaf springs. this has coilovers, and this has a wider stance. So the suspension on the new Ranger is already wider, and then they widen it again by 90 millimeters or 3 inches. So it's got a wider stance, and the shocks, because they're coilovers, can do so much more, especially they're adaptive with all the electronics that's working in this. So it's got all the modes too, right?
And because of all the off-road capability that this has, it doesn't tow as much as the regular Ranger, and also the payload is less too. So that's something to keep in mind if you are towing. The other might be a better option. This also has a ton of drive modes. We went off-roading. We were in all of these different courses. We had it in Baha, we had it in normal, we had it off-road. Like, it's just amazing what this is capable of doing.
And the Fox live valve shocks have the ability to change basically the comfort of the shock, and when you go off-road, for example, it's really quite soft and lets the wheels and the suspension travel more. In the Baha mode, if you're going over big bumps or jumps even, it prepares, it has logic, and it knows with all the different sensors, okay, I'm doing some serious off-roading here, and it softens them up, but it won't let it bottom out. It's amazing technology.
And another thing I noticed is when you're on road, the steering is a little bit heavier, but you put it in some of these other modes, whether it's off-road or Baha, the steering is so light. And when I asked the chief engineer about this, he said, yeah, we want to make it really light when you're on the trails or doing some more heavy off-roading.
Yeah, because if you grab a rut, you want to have it the ability to correct quite quickly. Okay, so that's kind of the mechanicals of this, and then we get into the aesthetic, and it looks nothing like the regular Ranger. This is the next generation, so it's got a new front on it, but it's also being raptorized, so you get a bigger Ford grille in the front, bigger air intakes, more muscular looking, because it's got that 3-inch wider track.
Yeah, it's really bold and aggressive looking. I like the look of the Ranger, but this Raptor is just so cool looking. Now, the Raptor's got a 5-foot bed, just like the Ranger. It has up to 10.7 inches of ground clearance. The styling is really confident looking with the LED projector headlights, LED fog lights, 5-inch rectangular running boards, Ford lettering on the grille, LED taillights, underbody protection, and the thick front bash plate is made up of a high-strength steel. The Raptor comes standard with 17-inch wheels, 33-inch all-terrain tires, and a spare tire.
So I think a lot of people will like the look of this thing, and I think they'll like the size of this thing. And in the States, I think you're going to like the price of this thing. Canada's a different story. Now we turn our attention to the inside. Now, yesterday we drove the Ranger, and we did a full separate video on that. I'll put the link here. Excellent video, excellent product, by the way. The interior of this is similar. This is where the similarities are closest, but it's the fine details. They've got orange accents, heavily bolstered front seats, but the overall layout's similar. Yeah,
leather trimmed interior with these orange accents. This model comes standard with the larger screen, so you've got a 12.4-inch digital driver display and a 12-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I really like the way that this is laid out. There's plenty of storage. This Raptor has the kind of top-end shifter.
It's digital. It's a digital
shifter. It's quite clean. Zach doesn't like it as much because you have to hit a button at the top to shift. I don't mind it. I really like how modern it looks.
Well, I like to be able to just slap the gear shift forward and go into neutral. This, you have to just finally wiggle it. Anyway, it's not my favorite. What I will say about this, though, and I think it's much better than the Tacoma, and Tacoma really doesn't have a truck that competes at this level with the Raptor, is the back seat legroom and comfort is so much better in Ranger than Tacoma. That's one area where that's the top seller, but this new Ranger line, both of the Ranger and this Raptor, are, I think, more comfortable.
And you can fold the seats flat. That's a new feature for the Ranger, but it still has the same cargo space under the seats. That has not changed, and it's got a power rear window that you can open or close, which is nice to have. Another thing I like is that Ford has carried the orange accents and the stitching into the rear seat. You don't always see that with all manufacturers. There is no moonroof in any Ranger.
So not only have they brought the Raptor to North America for the first time, they've also unveiled the Raptor Assault School. You can come here to Utah and do exactly what we're about to show you.
Yeah.
And it's pretty damn cool. If you buy one of these, you get that, a one-day course included in the price of the vehicle. You got to get yourself to Utah, but trust me, the scenery doesn't suck.
No.
And it would be a great road trip to come here. And you use your truck to get here maybe, but you use their truck to beat them up.
Which is exactly what I said to the chief engineer. How nice that you don't have to bring your brand new truck here. You can use theirs. Learn everything that you need to know about your Raptor, all the different drive modes, kind of what the best drive mode is, whether you want to have your front and rear locking differential on. They take you through it all. This vehicle off-road, we went up a mountain trail, was so impressive. It just ate up these large boulders. It really felt refined and agile.
It's not extreme off-road, but
No.
it's an aggressive off-road. I've gone on some off-road courses that are more like cottage trails. This is a proper off-road, and the ground clearance on this is quite remarkable. The approach and departure angles are really good. And here's a short clip of Andrea driving and me jiggling around.
Yeah.
So if I say Ford Raptor, what do you say? What's your first answer?
Incredibly capable.
That's good, Andrea.
Yeah, amazing. I wasn't really sure what it would be like, but this is just amazing. You've got the performance of the Raptor. It handles so well on road, but then you take it off-road and this assault school, it is so well organized, incredibly done. For those who buy the Raptor, you're gonna get the opportunity to do everything that we just did. You'll have a ton of fun.
Shake and bake. Oh, my head.
Oh, I did that already. By the way, here are the angles. It has a 33-degree approach, 24.2-degree breakover, and a 26.4-degree departure angle.
Okay, so we talked about having to wear helmets today, and for good reason, because they have what they call a Baha course, and you actually get to string some nice corners together, and at the end it's got a little jump. So the nice thing is they had cameras set up for us on the trucks and a drone overhead, and then Andrea got to do this for the first time.
Yeah.
So here's a little clip of Andrea doing the Baha, and that was with the settings pretty much freewheeling. So
Yeah.
no real intervention from traction and stability control. Unless you get it really wrong, you get to slide around.
That's the best part. That is so good.
And then Zork got a chance to do it.
Yeah, and then stay.
Late apex. There we go.
Yeah. There you go, you got it.
Oh, I could have gone later than that. All right, here we go. Good times. That's fun.
Oh my God.
Now, is it worth the money to
Wow.
buy this just to come and do that?
Yeah, I think it's worth that.
So that little jump at the end, that was just a little teaser.
Yeah, but it really felt like you really flew on that one. And then we got to experience this incredible jump. It was like full throttle, release the gas, and then jump.
Yeah, and you know what this
Amazing.
interesting thing is that it wasn't a big jump. It's only like a couple of feet. But when do you ever get to jump a truck? And the thing is, the sensation is pretty cool. Like, it's very composed, and
Yeah.
those Fox shocks, they don't bottom out. And so it's quite impressive that you get to be able to do that stuff. So if you come to this Raptor Assault off-road course, you get to do all that.
Yeah, and I have to say, when you're in the vehicle and you're doing all this stuff, you're kind of thrown around, and the jump, maybe it doesn't look as big, but when you're in, you are like flying. I almost hit the ceiling. It's pretty fun. I could do this often.
All right, now we're going to get into the specs of this and the pricing and more. The pricing in the US is incredible.
Let's start with pricing. In Canada, it starts at almost $78,000, and in the US, just under $55,500.
Here's the fuel economy for this twin-turbo 3-liter, 14.9 liters per 100 kilometers city, 12.8 on the highway. Has 16 miles per gallon city, 18 miles per gallon highway. This Raptor can tow 5,500 pounds and has a payload of 1,375 pounds. The warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. So there you go. It's the Ford Ranger Raptor from Utah. This is a pretty cool experience.
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you see, subscribe.
See you in the next one. Jinx.